Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and uncover a 1900-year-old framework that's going to instantly reduce your anxiety and help you reclaim your energy. Because honestly, the truth is, most of your suffering right now, it's simply the friction of gripping things that were literally never in your hands to begin with. Today, we're stripping Stoicism all the way down to its single most powerful moving part. It's a sorting rule that takes maybe 10 seconds to run, but it has the absolute power to completely rewire how you interact with the world.
So why are you tired in a way that sleep just doesn't seem to fix? Come on, you know this exact feeling. But here's the real revelation. You are exhausted not from laziness and not even because your life is unusually hard. You're exhausted because you are carrying around this incredibly heavy load that was never actually assigned to you. You spent the whole week trying to manage what a colleague thinks of you. You spent the month bracing for an economy that you absolutely cannot steer. You've rehearsed arguments with people who aren't even in the room, and you've lost every single one of them.
Listen, you are not failing. The central leap in most human lives is succeeding at the entirely wrong task. We pour genuine effort and real intelligence into outcomes that were never ours to command. Every single hour you spend gripping the ungrippable, chasing sand or wrestling the wind, is time stolen from the one place where your effort actually converts into something tangible. It's like carving stone versus swatting at clouds. And the worst part? This habit compounds. A mind that's trained to chase what it can't hold eventually becomes a mind that can't even recognize what it actually can. You just end up anxious about everything and effective at nothing.
All right, so let's get into it with Step 1, learn what Epictetus actually wrote.
Let's go straight to the source of this philosophy. We're looking at an inventory created by a former slave in a Roman classroom named Epictetus. Now, he didn't kick off his teachings by talking about the cosmos or, grand sweeping virtues. He opened his handbook, the Enchiridion, with a single sentence that basically reorganizes everything. He states, "Some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever are our own actions." I mean, think about that list for a second. Because the actual text goes so much further than those watered-down inspirational internet versions of Stoicism you probably see while scrolling through social media. We're going to treat this as the strict discipline it actually is, a highly effective sorting procedure.
Let's break those categories down side by side. I want you to focus on the not in our control column for a second. Your body, your property, your reputation, your position or command. Now, Epictetus isn't telling you those things don't matter. Not at all. He's telling you they aren't yours in the same fundamental way that your own judgment is yours. He warns that if you treat the things not in your control as if they are yours, you will absolutely be obstructed and anxious, because those things are weak and they are entirely dependent on other people.
So I need you to be really honest with yourself right now. Of everything you were so deeply anxious about this past week, how much of it actually appeared on that first list? Your opinion, your desire, your own actions? If the answer is almost none of it, well, you didn't actually have a hard week. You just had an unsorted one.
Moving right along, Step 2, run the sort before you run the feeling.
See, most people mistakenly try to apply this philosophy as damage control. A disaster lands, the panic rises, and somewhere around hour 3 they suddenly remember, oh wait, some things aren't up to me. But by then, the judgment has already been made, and your body has already fully committed to the stress response. That is entirely too late. The absolute crucial point here is that you must run this neutral sorting question upstream way before the adrenaline hits. When something happens, before you decide how you feel about it, you have to ask yourself, whose move is this? Is it my action or an outcome? Not is this good or bad, just whose move is it? Epictetus was trying to train his students to make this as reflexive as a boxer's guard. You aren't trying to magically be wise in the heat of the moment, you are trying to have already been wise before the moment even arrived.
Okay, Step 3, move the goalposts inside.
To truly master this framework, we have to stop scoring ourselves with a scoreboard that other people control. The Stoics use this absolutely brilliant image of an archer to explain this concept. Think about it. The archer completely controls their stance, right? They control the tension of the draw, and they control the precise, exact moment of release. They even control the choice of target. But once that arrow leaves the bow, unless they've got some kind of magical powers, they absolutely do not control the wind.
And that brings us to a massively powerful redefinition of victory. Success is defined as shooting well, not as hitting the target. When you apply this to your own life, your goal isn't to force the hiring manager to give you the job, or to force your partner to finally understand your argument. No, your goal is simply to prepare thoroughly, answer honestly, and speak the truth clearly without contempt. Now, you can still prefer the good outcomes. Stoicism doesn't ask you to be a robot, for sure, but your success is entirely measured by your own effort,
not the wind.
That brings us to step 4, catch the misapplication.
We really have to confront how the dichotomy of control has become, hands down, the most abused idea in modern Stoicism. People constantly use "not in my control" as a giant permission slip for pure avoidance. They're basically dodging accountability while wearing philosophy's coat. For example, the person who literally hasn't exercised in a year claims their health isn't in their control. Or the person who is needlessly cruel says the other person's reaction isn't in their control. But remember our list? Epictetus put your actions firmly on the "in our power" side of the ledger. He designed this tool to remove excuses, not to manufacture better ones.
So, I want to challenge you right now. What is that one thing you filed under "not in my control" that is actually sitting right there on the other list? You've known for weeks what you're avoiding, and this philosophy straight up demands that you stop hiding behind false helplessness. If it's your action, it is yours to own. Period.
All right, step 5, know the debate you are standing in.
Because this misapplication we just talked about is so rampant today, modern philosophers actually get into passionate debates over whether two clean categories, mine and not mine, are genuinely enough to handle real life. Take philosopher William B. Irvine. He argues for a trichotomy. He suggests there is a middle band of partial control, kind of like whether or not you win a tennis match. But then Chuck Chakrapani pushes back hard with his strict dichotomy, stating that the trichotomy completely confuses actions with outcomes. Chakrapani argues there is literally no such thing as half ownership. Your actions in the tennis match are yours, the result of the match is simply not yours. There is a clean, sharp line, and that precision is the whole game.
So do this. Stop right now. Grab a piece of paper and map out whatever is weighing on you today with brutal, absolute precision. Draw 2 columns, mine and not mine. Everything in the left column, that is your job. Everything in the right-hand column, that is not work, it is weather. And you don't try to control the rain, right? You just put on a coat. Clarity here is everything.
Almost there. Step 6, test every impression at the door. This brings us to a highly practical instruction tucked away at the very end of Epictetus's first chapter. It's his profound practice that most people miss entirely because, well, they stop reading after the first paragraph. He writes, "Work, therefore, to be able to say to every harsh appearance, you are but an appearance and not absolutely the thing you appear to be." Think of it this way. An impression arrives at the gate of your mind wearing the official uniform of a solid fact. It shouts, "My boss hates me," or "My career is totally over." Your job as the bouncer is to stop it right at the gate and ask for identification.
You have to stop and ask, is this an actual event, or is this just my verdict on an event? Epictetus makes it crystal clear that you are disturbed by the notions you form about things, not the things themselves. You are the guard at the gate of your mind, and nobody else holds that key. You literally have the power to turn that harsh appearance away.
Finally, conclusion. The shape of your attention.
Look, if you strip away the quotes, the marble busts, and all the grand aesthetics of Stoicism, what you are ultimately left with is simply the shape of your attention. If you run this single sorting rule relentlessly day in and day out, it doesn't lead to some detached, emotionless life like people think. It actually leads to incredible force. Your energy will finally stop dispersing across 1,000 uncontrollable variables, and it'll concentrate solely on the few things that are genuinely yours. Now, you will still face hardship. You will for sure still lose things, but you will simply stop losing yourself along with them.
If you are truly ready to stop carrying the weight of the wind, and if you are ready to sort honestly instead of conveniently, adopt this exact vow right now. I sort before I suffer. Guard the gate of your mind, focus only on what is actually in your hands, and just watch how quickly your energy returns. But I'll leave you with this one final thought to ponder today. If you truly let go of controlling the uncontrollable right now, what are you secretly afraid you might discover about yourself?